Now, back to one of our top stories. President Cyril Ramaphosa has instructed Acting Police Minister Feroz Ketschalia and National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola to establish a special investigating task team to probe individuals implicated in corruption. It follows recommendations made in an interim report by the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Among other things, the report makes referrals for immediate criminal investigations and prosecution of several SAPS senior officials. They include KZN Hawks boss Lesetja Senona, Gauteng head of organized crime Richard Shibiri, acting Sidibeng District Commissioner Mbangwang Kwashu, SAPS Finance Division Manager Rachel Majing, and Fani Nkosi, a detective attached to the Office of Suspended Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection Shadrack Sibiya. It has also recommended action against several Ekurhuleni senior officials, including suspended EMPD Deputy Police Chief Julius Mkwanazi. Let's talk more about this with legal expert Dr Llewelyn Curlewis. Dr. Curlewis, a very good evening to you. And it was another explosive week at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, as we saw, but also that announcement by the President looking into that interim report.
Yes, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity. Indeed so, our State President is very excited about the recommendations that he received. He perused it, and obviously following from that, he immediately instructed two things, and that is the immediate following up on the recommendations and implementation thereof, on the one hand, and second of all, as you already indicated during your introduction, that a special investigative task team should be appointed that will immediately report directly to Fani Masemola, our National Commissioner of Police. Correct.
Now, you mentioned a very important word there, Dr. Curlewis, which is implementation. And as we know from time and time again, this is where we struggle and almost fail when it comes to implementation. When one looks at the State Capture Commission, in that report, there were 202 recommendations. Until today, we're still complaining that we haven't seen enough people in orange overalls. How confident should South Africans be that this announcement made by the President this week will actually be enforceable and we will start to see justice?
Yeah, I'm sorry to say that this is once again only recommendations forthcoming from a commission of inquiry. The terms of reference specifically mentions prima facie evidence that is sufficient for such a recommendation to be made. Now, prima facie evidence in law is not a final finding, never mind a verdict. So what we have here is we have a very low threshold for the Commission to refer a matter for further investigation. What we will have here is nothing but another task team and or the National Prosecuting Authority that will have to investigate. And then once those investigations are only completed, will final decisions be made whether the matters should ultimately culminate in arraignments before our courtrooms. And that is still a long way away, from criminal convictions. So for those of us in members of public that was thinking that this Madlanga Commission and the recommendations will result in people having orange overalls on within the next 6 months, I've got news for you. It's not going to happen. We will be lucky if we see some incarcerations and successful prosecutions, maybe early 2027 and onwards.
Maybe, Dr. Llewelyn, you could actually just help educate us when it comes to the legal system here. You know, South Africans are watching the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry with bated breath, and what appears to be coming out of there is just a surmounting evidence of just sheer corruption in our criminal justice system. With that has been found in the Madlanga Commission that you're mentioning, it still needs to go for investigations. But investigations take time. And, you know,
Absolutely.
Task teams also get disbanded, as we saw with the political killings task team, with immediate effect sometimes even. So what are the chances that we will actually reach some sort of justice? Because they still need to be investigated, and that could take another long period of time. And then over and above that, we don't know who could be in power then.
Absolutely. I totally agree with your sentiments raised. But just for perspective, remember that the only person that have actually responded to allegations and put himself out there to respond to those allegations where suspended EMPD Chief of Police Commissioner Julius Makwanazi. All the other so-called implicated persons that you've mentioned earlier on in the SAPS, the EMM, Ekurhuleni Metro Police, and the IPED, have not yet responded to the allegations that came out during the inquiry and the evidence that was led before this commission. So it's untested evidence. The bottom line is, in South Africa, we have what is known as an audi alteram partem principle. That is the rules of natural justice that guarantees that everybody have the opportunity to respond to allegations against him or her. And only once we have seen what the response is, and we can test it on the cross-examination under oath, will we know how reliable and weighty such evidence will be in a court of law. We are far away from that perspective yet. So this is why the state president also instructed the special task team to further investigate the implicated persons, and they will probably now give the perpetrators or alleged perpetrators the opportunity to respond under oath by means of their legal representatives and otherwise, and only then can an informed decision be made by the National Prosecuting Authority whether a prosecution should follow, one, and two, on what charges. Because we have various charges, statutory and common law charges, that is possible that can come to the front after this investigation that we've seen. So those are basically the rules that will find application going forward.
Thank you so much for that clarity. And clearly we have a very long road to still traverse and travel on. Thank you for your time as well.